Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Kyle Wright 425 podcast. I am your host, Kyle Wright, and as always, I am joined by my older brother, Eric. Hello, sir.
Hello.
And if this is your first time checking us out, we want to let you guys know that you can go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that notification bell if you want to have emails and notifications every time that we upload videos, which is every Monday at 5 when there's a scary story and every Friday at 11 when podcasts like this are uploaded. So if that's something that interests you and you want to keep up with all the different content that we put on this channel and on Spotify as well, Spotify is another option. You can follow us on there if you prefer the audio version, but video version, you get to see all the cool stuff that happens, as well as what we have on in the background. And tonight we got Olin Rogers because he is a fantastic YouTuber. He's another, as we've said about the LA Beast, he's one of the other good guys of YouTube.
Yes.
He's just a genuine dude. I
haven't watched too much of his stuff. I'm have to be honest, but from what I have seen, yes, it's very much like you said, very, very good content. He's a very humble individual.
Right. And the one that I think really that did it for you was the Pumpkin War one.
Oh my God. That shit was hysterical.
That was actually what's funny was that I showed that not only to you, but I showed that to Minx and Corey as well. And they just do, they love it. So, cause at first
I have to admit, it's not even Olin Rogers that I like. Well, no. I mean, the whole thing is great, but it's the blonde dude that's the
There's
funny.
someone there. I'm paralyzed from the neck down. You're
now
out of
I'm
my
all flustered on how you got out here. Anyways,
I'm gonna link that in the description below. You got to see it. You got to see the pumpkin video. You got to see it.
Oh God.
But no, seriously, give Olin Rogers some love. He's a fantastic YouTuber and just creator. He he's done very well for
one
his
of the good
content.
Guys.
So tonight is kind of just gonna be a junk drawer, essentially.
Sort of. We blanked and we didn't know what to do. So this is what we're doing is we've talked about talking about Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
So
yeah, he's a definite influence in our lives, just from his, career and everything that he's done. And I think it would be wrong for us to not at least mention him at some point and get in depth with it.
And so I figured this will be more of like Jim Carrey / junk drawer, if you will, because we'll probably veer off a little bit. But when it comes to like comedy, I think if you don't think of Jim Carrey, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Now, while I get that he's not for everybody, which is weird, but he did evolve over time as far as he didn't just do like slapstick comedy.
Right.
And stupid humor, but I know it sounds dumb, but like that's what we needed. That's what the world needed. Those stupid comedies that he did, they were bangers. You can't deny that.
It's so interesting.
It's my childhood. It's my childhood. It's my late teens. It's my, early adult life. Like that's a lot of my memories is, watching, rewatching again, Jim Carrey movies and going to the theater and seeing movies. So that was, when I think back on a lot of things, he's a huge part of that.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I'm sure it's pretty much the same for you.
Well, what I was going to say was that it's like the films that came out when I was very, very young and leading up to, I would say probably the early 2000s, the content was good.
Yeah.
Like there was very few movies that you saw that came out, at least to my knowledge. It that was just like, oh, this was
they were all hits. Everything was hits.
Like you think about like Face Off, you think about the
Con Air.
Yeah, just like Nicky Cage. Oh my gosh. So it's just because it's I don't know, like
every movie was fire for like 20 years straight.
Yeah, and it's so I don't want to get onto a whole like Hollywood, whatever. But in the same hand too, it's like I feel like that's something that is definitely noticeable is that there's a definite decline in quality when it comes to those things. Mm-hmm. But with that being said, is that in my opinion, I think that I don't think that we're going to disagree on this very much, but it's that Jim Carrey for a while just didn't make any bad movies.
No.
Like it just, now again, not everybody's cup of tea. And like, like you said, but it's just, you think about, Ace Ventura. It's like that was a classic, like instant classic.
Do you know that? So I don't think you really met her. This is a weird, fucked up kind of backstory. My grandma Jessie, that was married to Grandpa Ralph, that was Grandma Dora's first husband.
Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
Did you follow that?
Yes.
I said that right the first. Boom.
That I actually, we'll probably do an entire episode on our family, just not like to get, not to get like specific and like get sued about certain things, but more so just like the idea of that we have a very, very interesting family tree. And I say interesting a lot because so much around me is, but it's just, oh my God, it's nuts.
So,
but yeah,
so her, I swear, dude, chill. I swear, I remember
yourself on camera, bro.
Well, I mean, it was just his foot, but I didn't want him getting like a hot spot.
Well, I mean, I can see his testicles from here, so I just kind of assumed. For anybody that's listening on Spotify, Thor is sitting next to Eric, and he was cleaning himself. So that justifies the comment. So
she had like another like grandson or something, or like a nephew. He was deaf, and he loved Ace Ventura. He loved Jim Carrey. He watched it with the closed captions on, and it was still funny to him.
Oh, wow.
That always amazed me, and the older I got, the more amazed I was at that. That not that deaf people can't enjoy movies and TV and stuff, but he was a very, I guess with him being a pretty visual actor too, does help. But he's a very, like, I don't know how to explain it, but he's a very pitchy actor. Like it's how he delivers or like raises and lowers his voice with like his punchline.
Yeah, that's
part of it.
Yeah,
but he is very flamboyant as well, so that helps. But it just always interested me, so much so that he wore out a VHS. He watched it so many times that he had to buy a new one.
Wow.
And I always remembered that, just thinking that, because he was my age, but it was just that he found him still that funny.
Right.
And that was always really like awesome to me. So, but would you say he's probably the GOAT when it comes to greatest of all time? As far as like a comedic actor?
I mean, it's pretty damn hard to top, man. I mean, because if there was anybody that I think that would be able to be up on the par of Jim Carrey, number one, Chris Farley, without a doubt. We'll probably do an episode specifically on Chris. John Candy is up there. And then, like Belushi, there's so many of them that had such a short run. And it's so unfortunate, but yet Jim Carrey is a guy that he's in his damn near almost his golden years now. Like he's getting up there, and it's not a knock against him. It's just, he's just a seasoned veteran and, in life, and
he's in his 50s.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where it's so cool just to see that he still enjoys doing what he loves. But in the same hand, like, he has kind of gone off his rocker a little bit here and there. And it's like, okay, what's method? What isn't, because he is a very method actor, but
he is method, but he had some fucked up tragedies happen and stuff. But but to get back on like the comedy side is when you named all of those greats that are no longer with us, I feel like he is probably what they would be as far as like stature, when it comes to the new comedy movie. Well, of course it's got Chris Farley in it, or whatever like that. Yeah. That's what those guys were. And that's what Jim Carrey he was and still kind of is. Comedy, I feel like comedy movies don't really come out as much anymore.
No,
it's always thrillers and love stories, and right. There's nothing fun no more.
I find that I fell out of comedy films for a while because I was just over the Seth Rogen, Will Ferrell, because it was just, because very recently I had watched Zack and Miri. Well, I watched that with you. I'd never seen it before because I was like, I don't want to watch I don't watch a movie about people making porn. I'm like, that's
why I was like, it's not what you think.
It wasn't even in that aspect. It was just one of those things where it's just like, okay, Seth Rogen's got to, be the stereotypical fat guy or whatever. And like, it's just like, he plays the same character no matter what.
Yeah.
And it's so that like got very, very old for me. And I found myself just still gravitating to old comedy because there's something more rich about it. It's the idea of that Seth Rogen, I don't want to just pick on him because he has done some very good films. I don't want to, I don't have a problem with the guy, but his comedy just doesn't sit well with me. And it's kind of the same like reason why I didn't enjoy Step Brothers. Step Brothers was just obnoxious comedy. It's like, it doesn't take much to think and like be that creative.
But
to make it.
But same thing with like Ace Ventura and Dumb and Dumber. And like that's the same type of humor.
In a sense, but now let me.
It's just newer.
Let me pitch it to you this way. I watched Dumb and Dumber with you and by myself hundreds of times when I was a kid and when you were a teenager. It never clicked for me how genius that movie is, ironically, because it never really dawned on me that they're idiots. Like, it was just one of those things.
What
like,
do you mean?
Like,
that's the name of the fucking movie.
Here's the thing. There was kind of this moment that happened to me when I was maybe about 12 years old, when I was becoming a teenager, and it dawned on me that, hey, I'm getting older, and all these things, and I kind of started to wake up and pay attention. I had kind of been on autopilot for such a long time. You
finally got woke?
Essentially, yeah, the wokest. Yeah, so which is a great screen name, by the way. A lot of people have it. That's a whole different story. But but no, there was this moment that I was watching. Actually, it was Aladdin. I was watching Aladdin as a teenager, and it made me realize how much adult humor was in it. How impressive Robin Williams was, and just like, and how good of a story it was. Like, it was like, it had so much context and just so much richness, and just like there was a plot that kept you on at the edge of your seat.
It was a good movie.
Yeah, it's like, and it's an animated Disney film, like, but not that diminishes it, but it's like that just unfortunately wasn't really there that much. And then you go to Dumb and Dumber. When I finally watched that as like almost like an adult, it dawned on me that it's like, the reason why everything happens in this film is because they're idiots.
Right.
And it's like the idea that why they don't get caught by the cops over the very thing that they didn't even mean to do because they didn't realize that it was poison. Like, that is something that I've come to call, I don't even know if it's the right thing, but it's situational comedy. It's kind of like a Tucker and Dale versus Evil kind of thing, where it's like,
yeah, I get you.
The main protagonist is, all these things are happening to them without them even understanding what's really going on. And it is so cool. So now on the side of Ace Ventura is a very is a very slapstick movie, but in the same hand, it's very grounded. It's a very, very grounded film. The characters are very, very real. Like it's believable that every character is the way that they are, even to the point of, Ray Finkel, so it's like that whole idea.
But see, I look at like Step Brothers as like the R-rated Dumb and Dumber. See, that's why when you told me that you didn't,
I don't know,
that you didn't enjoy them, you didn't say you didn't enjoy it, but you didn't find it as funny as I did.
No,
and like the twins and stuff, like all of my friends, and it struck me, like, I'm not mad that you don't like it or whatever. It's I was shocked in the fact of you were kind of like Ashley, where you were like, eh.
What's interesting to me is that Step Brothers to me is kind of like Napoleon Dynamite. It's better to talk about it rather than watch it, and quote it,
Nah, see, I still love Napoleon Dynamite. That is, see, we'll get to that in a second, but no, I always, that was just shocking to me because I always kind of considered Step Brothers like the R-rated Dumb and Dumber, and because they're fucking idiots. They're 40-year-old idiots. Yeah. And so, that's what it was in Dumb and Dumber. They were 30-year-old idiots.
Yeah, I think that I don't know, it's that whole, like, I didn't get into the whole, like, that they're 40 years old, they still mooch off of their parents. Like it's like
their parents are wealthy.
Well, right. It was just one of those things where like it's especially the scene that like drove me nuts because I've had not like this situation happen to me and it does nothing but just fucking infuriate me. Is that like I don't like being messed with like or pranked or anything like that. Like it just all it does is just piss me off. And when they're sleepwalking and they're just destroying the bedroom. It's like all I can think of is I'm like, I gotta fucking clean this up. I'm like, I get to deal with you and I get to put you back to bed. And like, it's like, that's the stuff I think about because it's like from like when I was in Boy Scouts and everything, like, you know, there was a lot of times that like people would mess with each other while they slept.
Yeah.
And that just like, that scene especially, like I did not enjoy that scene at all. I'm like, this is stupid. I'm like this. So, but the thing is that on the other hand, there's still a lot that I do enjoy about the film, which is the quotes. The movie is just, it's a movie of quotes and the quotes are fire. So it's like, it kind of, it infuriates me that the quotes are in a movie that has that, but it's, I don't know. Step Brothers it's a very complicated movie for me. And I can't believe I got that deep with like talking about it.
That's why I was so shocked that you didn't enjoy the movie because that's a quote movie. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of how I feel about Ace Ventura, Dumb and Dumber, Liar, Liar, you know, all of the like Jim Carrey greats, which is pretty much all of them. Mm-hmm. But if you had to ask me what my favorite Jim Carrey movie is of all time, I don't think I could give you an answer.
There's too many good ones.
I have such a deep like fascination and love for all of them pretty equally. Mm-hmm. Now there is a few that I have never seen, which is I do, you know, want to fix that. But when it comes to them, like even like the Truman Show and Fun with Dick and Jane, like Fun with Dick and Jane was not the greatest of films that he ever did, but it's still a really good movie. Yeah,
I heard a lot of people give that movie shit when it came out, and they were just like, "Dude, it was super short. It was like, like really unnecessary and everything." And like, I had a blast watching that movie. Yeah, it was fun.
It was good. It had a cool plot to it. And then, you know, me, myself, and Irene only seen a few times, but I know it's hysterical.
Yeah, I would say it's probably his weakest film for me. Like, I mean, it's good. Really? Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It was one of those things where
go ahead.
I think what I enjoyed about it was the fact that he was able to pull off each personality. Or both of them, you know, so that was cool, but I don't know. I didn't really dig the plot too much, but I mean, as a Jim Carrey film, though, like it would still be in my top 10. But it would be like a 10 or a 9.
To me, you know? Cable Guy is still one of I think his weakest for me, but I still enjoy it.
See, that's the thing. It's another one. I love the Cable Guy.
But he always claimed that the Batman movie was like one of his worst movies, and I don't understand why he did it. I thought he did a really good Riddler.
He did. What I did, I don't know if it's true or not, so I'm not going to make a, declaration.
About him and Tommy Lee Jones not liking each other?
Yeah, apparently there was a lot of tension on the set with them. Like, they just did not get along. Like
he just didn't find him funny.
Wow.
And I was like, and I think Tommy Lee Jones was maybe just like a seasoned actor then and vet to where I dare say like a pompous asshole maybe, and just didn't dig on, because Jim Carrey was kind of like in his prime right there. Like when it really was like he was the big actor, Tommy Lee Jones wasn't. He was the side note to it.
What I think is funny is that when like now that I have, like either seen like some scenes here and there, or I have thought about certain moments in that film when Jim Carrey does get or like when the Riddler gets frustrated with Two-Face, and it's like that. Has anybody ever told you have a serious impulse problem? Like it's just like he
probably really used that.
Yeah, like because if he's that method actor, then it's like he probably used that anger to help that that thing. But in the same hand too, obviously they were professional enough that they finished the film. But But yeah, it's just
better for the amount of money they got paid.
Right. It's just, I don't know. Batman Forever, like that was one of my favorite movies watching, like that I would watch when I was a kid.
Me too.
But I never once thought that he did a bad job. The only critique of that film that I have genuinely thought about, and I'm like, man, that is kind of unfortunate, is they both, Jim Carrey and Tommy Lee Jones both just tried to be the Joker. It was that, that giggly, like kind of like, ha ha, like just like that. It's because that's, if you understand and know Harvey Dent and, Enigma, it's like That's not how they were. Enigma was an obsessive compulsive. He was, somebody that he didn't have a sense of humor. He was he was black and white and razor straight the whole time.
Yeah.
Whereas, ironically, Two-Face genuinely had a split personality disorder. Like, it was this idea of that he couldn't keep them balanced, and that's what made him unstable. And it's like you kind of lose it. So, but again, it's like it's junk food movie. Like it's fun.
Yeah.
Like it's not enough for me to hate it, or anything. But
see like those are all the movies that like I would like to own, like on Blu-ray, like, good quality is the best quality you can get. Like, that's something that I spend money on, and it's nothing like crazy, but I support that. I support that movie or that actor or whatever. And that's where I know that I truly enjoy something.
Yeah.
And I know it sounds shitty to say, but I'll spend the money like that on something, because now everything's at your fingertips. And that's what sucks, is that, I can go upstairs right now and go watch Batman Forever tonight when I go to bed.
Yeah.
And I don't own it.
Right. It's, whether it's, Netflix, Fire Stick, or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's what I love about that is that even in the digital age, there's still that yearning to, want to own the physical copy of something.
Yes.
Like, that's it. Like, there's something about that when you own the physical copy of a movie, a CD, a game, all those things. I mean, you can download anything now,
Yep.
For your entertainment, needs. But I just, man, it's like getting to physically have it in your hands. Like, I do have all the Ace Ventura movies. I have them in a triple feature. And it's like, so it's like that was a gift from an ex of mine, from way back in the day. But, it's just, I'm so happy I have that. I think I may have watched it once, but watched that physical copy once, but I've watched it hundreds of times since then.
Yeah.
But it's that aesthetic of like, I have this.
You do have it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like that's it, man. Like, that's, it's just, like I said, it's just because there's so many good memories attached to all of those movies that makes me, want to own them, and like I said, and support that. But I'd have to say, like, growing up, that was like, when you think about it, Jim Carrey's movies were relatively, like, they were always PG-13, but they were always really clean.
Yeah, Me, Myself, and Irene was really the first thing that he did that was like, it was like, this is rated R, it's
but like even the PG-13 movies, like, Liar Liar, Ace Ventura's The Dumb and Dumbers, they really didn't swear. They said shit a couple times. And do you know, it took me a while to realize that in Dumb and Dumber, I always heard the first pussy when they were gonna eat the hot pepper, and the dude's like, "Why don't you both quit being a couple of pussies?" And he's like, "Sounds like a dare, Harry."
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, well, it took me years to realize when they were in the car and he's trying to get him to bet, and he was like, "What do you mean you don't bet?" He's like, I don't bet. And he's like, "Pussy, pussy." He was calling him a pussy.
That's
that whole
right. Holy shit.
I never caught that.
Wow.
I never caught it, and neither did TBS.
They didn't censor it.
They never did for years. But
wow.
Okay, so excluding that, his movies, yes, were all PG-13, but there was never really like a whole lot of sex. There was not a whole lot of language. Like I said, a couple of shits here and there, but like nothing. I think Ace Ventura said like "God damn it," like one, like not Ace, but like I think there was a "God damn" in there once.
Right.
But it wasn't excessive, and that's what, as I got older, I realized all of his movies for the most part were very kid friendly.
And what's funny too is that he had kind of. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, that was just very interesting that I never thought of it that way.
So, for instance, the one thing I wanted to touch on, which it leads right into the point I'm going to make with it, but I was talking with Buck a while ago, and we were talking about the idea of sequels. That sometimes like sequels just don't work. Like it's this idea of that they tried, it was a money grab. Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls is literally the Terminator 2 of fucking comedies. Like, it did everything better.
Agreed.
And it's good. Like, the setting got bigger, the stakes got bigger, the gags got bigger. Like, it was
and the plot was really good. The story was good.
It's like, think about that. That could actually be the plot to like an actual like Indiana Jones movie of like this great white bat was stolen and these tribes are going to kill each other and they need to maintain peace. Like,
exactly. That could really
it's so good. And he was at first he was like, man, he's like, I don't know, man. He's like, When Nature Calls, I feel like was kind of like a weaker film compared to the first one. He's like, I really, really enjoyed the first one. And I said, Buck, the rhino. And he went, oh yeah. He's like, yo, sequel's way better than this. So like, that's all it took
these
for
rhinos.
Just but think about this is that his profanity and everything is relatively, for the most part, PG-13. The subject matter is usually what's either that gross out factor there is, like, the sex stuff that's in there, or, like there's the violence, if you will, like of him, jumping off of the roof and landing into like, the dumpster. It is that slapstick comedy. And it's like, it is so cool to just see.
Oh my God, the mask.
Oh my God, the mask. Yeah. Oh man! Again, another banger. Like and based off of a comic book too.
That was such a good movie. I might watch that tonight. Look, Ma, I'm roadkill.
Oh my! And again, so many quotable lines. But the thing is that like, what I would say is that it's like it completely differs itself from Step Brothers because the idea of that, like the mask, is that it has so many quotable moments. But the thing is that it is what's up?
Nothing.
Oh, your eyes got wide.
I thought I had something in my eye.
That was just like, there's a demon behind me, isn't there? No. So it's the comedy in The Mask is so over the top and so cartoon that it's like, it basically throws you into this world of that. It's like nothing matters.
But it's supposed to.
Right. And it's like when he like, that's a fourth wall breaking moment where he like is pulling his splattered self off of the pavement. And like, I think he wants to communicate. Like, just it's like, like again, a fourth wall moment. There's just nothing bad about The Mask. Like it's just great.
See,
still stands the test of time in my opinion.
That's what I was saying. See, that's where I was going to say it still holds up with like today.
Yeah.
Because I can almost guarantee you I could put that on for like Riley and she would love it.
Yeah.
Again, there's not a whole lot of language. There's a little bit of sexual innuendo throughout that movie. Nothing crazy. Again, PG-13. So that is I don't know. That just always floors me that his movies were really clean. And so was his comedy, like his stand-up for the most part,
Yeah.
But so I guess that pretty much would cover Jim Carrey because we could go on it all night. But
sorry, go ahead.
No, but as far as like, that goes, man, I say he's one of the greatest. He has to be.
Jim Carrey did something for me that I did not realize was possible, and it was that he mainstreamed comedy that was solid. And it's like this idea of that he was not somebody that only few people knew about, or like, because there's such a stereotype now of people that would watch like Pineapple Express, or that they would watch like,
only seen it once.
Well, right. But like my point is that it's like, Jim Carrey had very, very mainstream movies. Yeah. But the thing is that they were kind of like the Stone Sour, or he was like the Stone Sour of, of movies where it's like Stone Sour is mainstream. They're still Stone Sour. Yeah. It's like they're still like, how they used to be back in the day. However, it's like so many times, like it's like depending on the comedian, depending on the actor, it's like, they kind of only appeal to one group of people. Jim Carrey is just unanimous across the board. Like there's so like you from pretty much every age and pretty much any sense of humor, you can dig Jim Carrey. He's funny. Like that's what's wild.
He is. And he does like Bruce Almighty.
Another banger. And it's very recent compared to all the rest of them.
Yeah. But like Bruce Almighty, I remember me and Mom being like, okay, let's see how this works. He's going to play God.
Right.
You know, like, okay, you better tiptoe lightly over these eggshells here, right. Morgan Freeman, Jim Carrey. Like,
I personally believe Morgan Freeman's God, but that's a whole different story. So I wouldn't be shocked like if I found out that was the case.
But that is probably up there for one of my favorite Jim Carrey movies, just because it was, again, done very well. The visuals were really awesome. The comedy was spot on.
Smile for mom. She asked what I was doing right now, and I'm just sending her a picture. So that was a matinee day for me and her. I forget, we saw it in the theaters like the week it came out. Yeah, and I forget why. I must not have been at work that day or something, but. Oh my God. We were like there was like us and like maybe 2 other people in the theater, and like we had the theater to ourselves. It was hysterical. Mm-hmm. It was a riot, dude. And then when he's trying to find his keys. Yeah. Oh God.
Run, man. But like I remember, you know, theater movies for me as an adult have gotten better because I do certain things. But so let's veer off a little bit of a junk drawer here. It's not Jim Carrey, but it's comedy related. Mm-hmm. One of my best friends, Jake. It was me, his brother, and him. This was when the movie Road Trip was first out.
Yeah.
We said, let's go see this movie, right? Well, we smoke before we go in.
Right.
And all we remember, it was packed. It was a pretty packed house. Like, I'm pretty sure we like kind of had to sit off like kind of to like the side off of the where the theater was. Mm-hmm. But all I remember us was laughing hysterically through this movie. Couldn't remember it. We ended up renting the movie when it came out and smoked again and watched it, did the same thing. We're like, what the fuck is happening? We decided, like, we're going to not smoke and watch this movie.
Right. Yeah. This is like an existential crisis right now. Yeah.
All we knew was that it was funny.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I tell you that story to tell you this story. Mm-hmm. A couple years ago, because you made me think of this movie. You said you don't really dig on, a whole lot of Seth Rogen movies, just it's kind of the same thing. And I agree. I do agree with you as far as like how his movies work. There's a lot of them I do like, but it did get a little repetitive for me. There's one movie that is kind of like a new tradition for me to watch. It's called The Night Before.
Yeah, I do remember you talking about that. Yeah.
So the reason I was telling you about this movie was because of a crazy theater experience. I want to know if you had any. So it was, I'm not going to say where I worked, but we were having a Christmas party and we were stayed up at a really nice hotel. I had my stuff with me, and across the street was a movie theater. Mm. So the next day, Ashley said, do you want to go see a movie? And I was like, yeah, let's go see The Night Before. So I do my thing right before we timed it perfect. Get done doing my thing, walk in. We have about 4 minutes before the movie like starts. The guy is like, theater 13 to your right. We're like, cool. Go to the right. I look up. I said, The Night Before. We walk in. Dude, the first thing I saw out of the corner of my eye was these people dressed like birds. And they're going backwards, like it's rewinding. And I'm like, what is happening right now? And like all like these weird costumes, like very vibrant, and it just shit is happening, and it is intense. But it's going backwards.
In reverse.
I am fucked up. I am fucked up. And this shit is happening. And then I look in the audience and I'm like, Ashley, is it all old people in here? She's like, yeah, it is. We're talking like nobody below the age of 65.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, what the fuck? So we sit down. And I'm looking and I'm watching this giant screen and just backwards. Just all of this fucking craziness is happening. I finally, or Ashley, I was like, go look to make sure I'm like, if I am that fucked up, I read the wrong, like, what is happening? Mm-hmm. She comes back in. She's like, no, it says the night before. I'm like, okay. So I finally like lean back to this like old couple behind us. And I was like, excuse me. I was like, is this the movie The Night Before, the Seth Rogen Christmas movie? And she looked over at her husband and she's like, oh no, honey, this is the opera. And I was like, the fuck?
They were doing oh my God. That is hilarious.
So we go back out and and the guy's like, oh, I'll show you. Now, what ended up happening, they said, oh, yeah, the opera plays like once a month at this theater, like on the 15th or like whatever it was of every month. What it was is they were rewinding the movie.
Wow.
Freaked me out. But then what freaked me out even more was the guy was like, follow me. We're like, okay. I've been to this theater all of my life. All of my life. This dude took me down a hallway I've never been, to a door I've never seen, to another wing that I've never known was there. I thought, we're either going to go to Narnia or we're going to be murdered.
Or both.
This door opens, and there's this other door with this light flattened like, oh, like I'm serious. And there's this black couple standing there with tickets in their hand going, sorry for you hearies that can't see. They're just like looking around confused. And the guy's like, it's this theater. And sure as shit, there it says The Night Before. And the guy's like, are we in the right spot? And the guy's like, yeah, Kyle, I've never seen this theater ever in my fucking life. Ever. We made it just in time as like the credits were like, or the credits as like the previews were pretty much over.
Wow.
Dude, it was the trippiest shit that's ever happened to me. I never knew if I wanted to buy more weed like that again or never smoke it again.
I mean,
going with A.
Well, because when you're thrown into a situation like that,
it was fucked.
Seriously, like that would be a really, really bad situation to be in. And it's especially too, is that it's like, being sober, like that would be terrifying.
So the people that were lost, they were sober.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's the thing is that, we don't have a lot of theaters in our area. Mm-mm. So it's,
at least not good ones.
Well, right. Well, there are a couple bangers.
There are.
But the thing is that you're right. Like you get to know like everything about them.
Yeah.
It's like the type of popcorn that they use, the candies they have available. Like the theater that we went and saw both It Chapter 1 and 2. That's unfortunately is no longer open now due to COVID. But
no, he died.
What? That's what happened?
Yes, it had nothing to do with COVID.
Wow.
Yeah, I did find that out. And speaking of, I've heard people say that they're going to try and buy it, but yes, me and Kyle fantasized about it, but
it was like a 10-minute conversation like one time, and it was just, I was like, God, wouldn't that be so cool?
You're right. Like that's a place that has had this. It's had the same look, the same layout, the same everything. I know I'm going to get the same snow caps. I'm going to get the same popcorn. I'm going to get the same Dr. Pepper. And and to go back on our brief conversation we had about it, the if we did. We discussed that we really wouldn't change it.
No,
because that's a part of people's like memories, that look.
To explain for anybody that doesn't know, it's essentially it's Great Oak Cinema.
Yeah. You can Google it.
Yeah, it is so awesome for so many different reasons. But I mean, a lot of my teenage years, that's where I saw a lot of my, like, that's where I saw Jackass 3D. That's where I saw The Amazing Spider-Man. That's where I saw both 1 and 2. Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2. And, you know, there's so many good memories there. But the thing that's so cool about this is that Eric's not kidding. This place looks like it is straight out of the 70s. It is. It is. The wall still has that carpet,
shag carpet that you can make your handprint in, dude. It's baller.
And there's always that there's always that one handprint that's so ridiculously high. You're like, how did they do that? Like it's just like, you know,
yeah, always.
It's like, hey, Shiny, don't go on top of that banister there, you know, or like it's, you know, something like that. But no, it's so wild. Like, and I've mentioned it before in my movie reviews for Endgame and for It Chapter 2 is that they aren't a part of the major, like, you know, chain of. So
they can do whatever the fuck they want and play movies beforehand.
Yeah, they always show their movies a day early. And what was funny was that when we went and saw It Chapter 1, there was nobody there. It was me, you, and I think 3 other people.
Pretty much.
And that was so cool to get to see it before the, like, you know, it was the official release.
A lot of the like public. That was awesome.
And then, however, the complete opposite thing happened for Chapter 2. Chapter 2 was completely packed, and it was like people finally understood.
It actually wasn't that bad.
I remember it being really full.
There was still quite a few seats open, like for being the night before, like the midnight showing. So like I found it was still relatively not busy. But see, you did more of the Great Oaks cinema, which I mean I did too. I did more of like Worcester and then Montrose, like as far as like movies 10 and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, and like the Regal. So I always did a lot more of like the bigger ones. And it wasn't because Great Oaks was beneath me. It just so happened that's just always where I ended up going.
Yeah.
You know, whether it be like on a date or if I met somebody or if it was just like a spur of the moment thing because we were like at the mall or something. So, and then the other thing that's very underrated still is like drive-in movies. I want to go. I really want to go to one like soon. You know, maybe in the next couple weeks because I'll have to drive by and see where the one out there that, you know, Blue Sky.
Yeah.
Because I mean it's open.
Yeah.
And
especially too. I mean, that's that Blue Sky is a place that I never mind driving out to. You know, it's not far. It's just because it's one of those things where like it's in a weird part of the town and stuff. It's just like I don't know. I don't go there very often. It's just like
got to be like secluded.
That is
true.
What
I mean? Like,
but no, actually, that's I believe Blue Sky is where I saw Revenge of the Sith for sure when that was brand new. And I saw The Dark Knight Rises. That was a really, really awesome thing. Dark Knight Rises is actually a movie that I saw twice in theaters. That was a fantastic one.
I'm pretty sure. See, that was like a me and Jonathan Sharpton thing. That was a lot. We did a lot of the Blue Sky. Like I'm pretty sure we saw Twister there.
Oh wow, that's a hell of a movie to watch at a drive-through or drive-in. Because like with the whole like when everybody's watching like the whole what was it? They were watching the Shining.
Yeah,
when the F5 hit, it was
they're at the drive-in.
Yeah.
What else did we see there? Like a bunch. I'm pretty sure we might have even saw one of the Ace Venturas there.
Oh wow!
To be honest with you, we did a lot. We did a lot of the drive-ins. You know, when I was younger, that was popping back then. That was the thing.
Yeah.
You know, but as far as you know, like movie theaters goes, though, yeah, you're right. Great Oaks is just there's just something about it. There's theaters that you're comfortable with, and you associate those movies and those memories. Like I will never not watch the new It movies without thinking of Great Oaks Cinema because that is just something that was so cool and so fun. And I don't know. I felt cool to see it the night before, you know,
dude. I'll tell you something, man, is that, I mean, I don't want to go too much on an It tangent, but this is just, you know, popping up for me is that I fucking love those movies.
Oh, me too.
Chapter 1 and Chapter 2, they're so good. And what really I think sold it for me was listening to the audiobook, like dedicating myself and getting through the 45 hour audiobook that, is just so full of detail, and it is difficult to get through it because this much of the book is like the history of dairy from the perspective of Mike. And it's like, so everything that goes into it. And what really kind of broke me about it was that it was like, number one, that was something that you and I did together. And that was so cool. But I don't know if you noticed it or not, but I actually cried watching chapter 1. I didn't know if it was like noticeable or like, 'cause I wasn't like ugly crying or anything like that.
No, but I mean, yeah.
When the blood oath happens at the end.
Yeah.
And it was the Benjamin Wallfish's music in that film is so good. And there was this moment that it overtook me, and it was just like, I'm like, this is alive now. This is like, I've literally everything that I have listened to, I have read, I have seen with the original Tim Curry version, like all that stuff, which by the way, no knock against the original, for original 2. Part 2 is definitely lesser than part 1, but it's in my opinion, just because it's not as strong as a film. Yeah. There's something about just the kids, like it's like being children, it's more terrifying, but, but no, it just, there was, everything from Bill Skarsgård to Finn Wolfhard, like everybody in that movie was a slam dunk, and it was
they really were.
But no, it just there was just something about that, man. Like I'll never forget that. Like I didn't think I was going to like it as much as I did, because I honestly thought that it was going to be a movie that I was going to watch maybe 2 or 3 times my entire life, because I knew that the subject matter was going to be intense. It was going to be dark. It was going to be essentially what the book was. And and that was, that it gave no fucks. And so it's like, I didn't know if that was going to be something that I was going to want to watch all the time. And
I watch it a bit, actually.
Yeah, it's like, but dude, it's one of my favorite films. Like for 2017, Chapter 1 was my favorite movie that came out that year, because it just like there was no movie that could top it for me. But yeah, it was. But even Chapter 2, getting to see the spider scene on the big screen, and like how like the deadlights looked and like all that. It was just good, man.
It was really awesome. So that's more of a certain films I feel are like theater worthy that you should go see in theaters.
Actually, come to think of it too, Mom and I actually went and saw War of the Worlds at Great Oaks. The Tom Cruise. You've never seen the Tom Cruise one, dude? It is good. Mm-mm. It is really good. It is. That was actually something we were not prepared for. We went into that movie thinking like, okay, yeah, it's going to be a cool sci-fi movie. It's going to be this. It's going to be that. And both of us in this theater, couldn't tell you how many people were there because I don't remember. I just remember watching this. We both were gripping our seats, like watching what was happening. It was like, holy shit. Like when you think about aliens, and when you think about the scariest, like, thing that can, come after you, as far as like what the things that they would use, or like the weapons or the ships, all of that. It was a very, very terrifying movie. And that idea of that we're completely helpless. Like it's everything from the phasers that they use to take out people, like it instantly just vaporizes them. It turns them into instant cremation. The ships that they use were planted here however many years ago, and a lightning strikes is how all the aliens got into the ships. Because it was this idea that they were seeing these lightning strikes, and they're like, okay, well, what kind of a superstorm is this? And I don't know if it was Tom Cruise or if it was somebody else, but they basically said lightning doesn't strike in the same place twice.
Usually, yeah.
So yeah, it was just, it was this, it's like everything, like it went in such a ballsy like area, like, or like road and stuff. Eventually later on, like they're essentially grinding up humans and spewing their remains and stuff all over the earth, and like it's creating new vegetation. And it's like, it was such a ballsy movie. It was so good. But yeah, like that's just all that being said, kind of a little mini synopsis there, but no, it was so cool, like just to experience it there, because it was still just as good as like watching it at a high quality like Regal cinema or something like that. But no, it just, Great Oaks is awesome. I really hope that place gets people back. But
I do too. And then, that's a shame that in the bowling alley across the street didn't stick around. Like,
Yeah,
You know,
cosmic bowling, dude.
Yeah, that's something that, you know, you don't think about, like, and obviously we're not going to be able to do right now, but like that's something that I haven't done in so long. I'd love to go bowling.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know. I think everybody's just over the cabin fever and just over the BS. So I mean, I don't want to go too much on a COVID tangent, but in the same
how long have we been going?
Honestly, we're at 51 minutes. We still got a little bit left. So I mean, we can honestly, everything's still on. Everything's good. So we haven't had any technical issues this time. So things are good. But no, it's just when the first official lockdown happened. And that wasn't as bad because, you know, you had bought Doom Eternal. We were completely soaked up into that. Christy had gotten Animal Crossings. So it's like, you know, she had her thing. So it's like we had plenty of stuff to really keep us busy. And it's just this has gotten to the point that we don't even really have it that bad. We really don't.
No,
but in the same hand,
it's just like, come on, dude, we're over it.
It's the mental state of things, you know, and it's all that. I mean, because it's unfortunate.
As of 6 o'clock tonight, every place is making you wear a mask.
In Ohio, the mandates that has come through with it, which
even like a gas station.
Yeah, which I mean, honestly, I really don't care. You know, it's one of those things where it's like I keep 2 masks in my car at all times for that very reason. If there was ever to be an issue, it's like, okay, cool. Like, you know, just pop it on. Like that way it's like I don't have to deal with anything because I'm a very, very simplistic person. And it's like people are like, well, it's like you're going to wear a mask because they told you to. It's like, yeah, because it's like, you know why? Because tonight I get to go home and I get to go relax. And all I had to do was just do this. And you are going to be outside fighting with them. So it's like, I don't want to deal with that. So, you know, but I mean, in the same hand too, is that everybody has their right. Everybody has the ability to do what they want. But in the same
I don't agree with it.
So and that's okay, you know, but
I don't agree with the mask. I think they should fuck right off.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you don't want to, but
yeah.
I mean, there's just so many people that are so, but again, now they're making it, I mean, they're making it impossible because if you want to take a stand and not do it, like you're not going to be able to get gas, you're not going to be able to get food, you're not going to be able to do that. Like they've got you. They've got you cornered. So we'll see. You
know, my boss did something really interesting. I've mentioned him a few times on here and we talked about this thing and basically, he has a mask that he wears. I'm not going to reveal what it says, but basically what it is that it is, it states very much how he feels of that. It's like, look, I don't want to do this, but he's like, I completely think this is dumb.
Yeah,
but I'm still going to. He's like, I'm still going to wear it. I'm still going to make sure that I'm protecting myself and those that are around me.
I think it's dumb too, but I'm going to have to do it.
Right, you know. But it's I don't know. At the end of the day, man, it's like I think that, you know, no matter where we stand, no matter where we are with how much we agree on the decisions of everything, I think that as a general consensus, this is probably, the first time in a long time the entire world is just done. They're just like let's you know, it's, you know, because even like with some of the guys that that I've talked to, and then the gentleman that you know you've been able to talk to as well. I'm not going to reveal who he is, but I am going to be collaborating with him soon. But I did ask him how things are on his end of the world because he's from Great Britain.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's bullshit. You know, he's like, I'm going back to work here in just a couple of days. He's like, I haven't worked in however long. So, but that's also, he's been able to just make YouTube videos. So he's been able to actually get a pretty decent following to make at least somewhat of a good living, like part-time living off of it. So there's been pluses for certain people, you know, it's this whole thing. There's so many aspects and so many differentiating opinions and so many different circumstances of everybody. Yeah. You know, that goes with this is that it's like, yeah, like, you know, we can sit in our, you know, very big comfy home or whatever and bitch about how much masks are or, you know, stick up for it. At the end of the day, it's like there's people out there that are not protected. There's people out there that are dealing with this on, you know, the front lines. Like we've mentioned it before, but like our medicals, like anybody that's working the medical field right now, dude, like we completely respect and just like are very thankful for you. Like I can't imagine what that's like. You know, it's something that I, you know, am very, very aware of how difficult that is. And it's like, that's why I say we don't really have it all that bad, but
no, we don't, but it's just fucking bullshit. And we're all over it.
Yeah. You know, I mean, I think I tried to, I don't want to make light of it, but you know, like when DeWine did his first announcement, it was like probably like 3 hours beforehand. I was still at work and I went to one of my coworkers and I said, hey, I think I know what I'm going to do if this lockdown happens. If he calls for a lockdown today, I would know if that's what's going to happen. So here, shook the camera. How dare you? No, no, I was looking at my coworker and he was like, what are you going to do? And I said, I think I'm finally going to binge watch all the shows that I've been saying that I was going to. And he was like, oh, yeah, I guess that's a good idea. You know, you're home, you know, so if you can do it. But yeah, I've tried my best to look at this in a way that's not so fucked. And because I mean, let's be clear. It absolutely is. But yeah, I kind of tried, like, very recently I've tried to adopt this mentality of like what Arnold from Hey Arnold always had, was that he was always the one that wanted people to band together. He wanted optimism. He tried his hardest to do it. And I want to say one of his friends in an episode looked at him and said, why do you do that? This is such a horrible situation. Like, why are you doing that? And he just kind of stopped and looked at him and he's like, someone has to. You know, it's like somebody, it's like, you know, if you have nothing but just negative, like it makes everything so much harder, you know, and it's like, that's, you know, so like I said, I understand it's just changing your mindset's not always going to fix everything, but in the same hand, like it would help, you know, it's like that idea of like, you know, I think Propaganda said it where it's like, you know, my album will not change the world, but it will touch it. Yeah. You know, it's that, you know, that idea of that. It's like, look, you know, it's like we can, and even then too, you and I have very differing opinion on masks. We're doing a podcast together. We live together. I actually like you as a person.
Oh wait, you think the mask? You think people should wear the mask?
I'm for.
You think for it? No, I'm saying. Do you think it should be mandated?
I don't think it should be mandated.
Okay,
I think
that's where I'm saying.
In my opinion, I think it should be common sense, and that's where I'm at, and that's as blunt and as honest as I can be. Now, here's the thing. I should be able to say that small thing because right now we're 58 minutes into this recording. We have talked about so many things. We have talked about things that we love. We've talked about memories that have made us laugh, like the things that make us relatable as human beings. There are some people that are going to hear that spot right there of what I just said about masks. I think that it should be common sense, and they're going to negate everything else and immediately hate my guts. This is
fuck them.
Well, right. But in the same hand too, it's one of those things where it's like, dude, like it's again, like I've quoted it a few times, but it's like, it's the Troy Baker thing. It's the idea of that. It's like, you know, how he was talking about like people that were spoiling The Last of Us Part 2 of that. He basically said, he's like, I don't get you. I don't get you. This, you literally are on borrowed time with your life. You have no guarantee that you will be here tomorrow. And this could be your last moment, this last moment in your life. And you're going to spend it fucking with someone. Yeah. Like, I don't get you. And that's what I would say to somebody that would, you know, get pissed off about that. Like, not to say that, you know, you can't get emotional about things that you believe politically or personally or emotionally. Like, but in the same hand is that it's like, we can disagree and still be civil.
And that's the thing is like, I know, I think we're on the same page. I don't think I'm saying, I don't think I should, that you should be told to wear it. It should be, if you want. I don't wear them. I keep to myself. Mm-hmm. I stay my 6 feet away. I don't go to the store unless I need to. Yep. I don't finger fuck everything that I walk in. Like if I need it, I grab it. Like if, you know, and you've even seen me before where like, I'm like, oh yeah. Oh shit. That's not the set, but I grabbed it because I already touched it. Yeah. You know, it was $1 for that bag. like, you know what I mean? Right. But so that being said is that I really don't care about the mask. Like I really don't. Either way, like I don't want to be told to wear it and to be able to come into a store, but goddamn, like I'm not going to be like some of my friends on Facebook that flip the fuck out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean,
which, by the way, we still love them. Like, it's not nothing about that. Yeah. So, yeah.
I'm just saying, like, I'm not at the end of the day. I mean, I've had fun with it where the one chick told me I had to put on a mask and I said in plain English, I don't speak English. And kept walking. And then she said, right, but you're white. And I said, that's racist. It was I was just being fun. Like, I was good. Like, they didn't have what I wanted anyways. I was going to be leaving to begin with. But to me, that does piss me off. I don't know. It's just one of those things. If I do get sick, I get sick, and it's my own fault then. Right. You know, but at the same time, I also believe other things are going on with this. So like, and we're not going to get into that tonight. So like, but there's just a lot that goes with my mask, no mask, pro mask, no pro mask. Like I have different views on it. Like, you know, and you can call me a hypocrite or not. Like I believe that, yes, people believe that you should wear it. I'm in the middle of it. Like it doesn't really bother me either way, but I just don't like the fact of being told I have to enter a store.
I mean, because, you know, everybody that, you know, would say like wake up sheeple or anything like that, where it's like, you know, I completely agree that
it is.
And here's the thing is that it's not just limited to masks. It's limited to anything. It's like do you really think that, and I don't want to be like our government or like whatever, but it's like but what I would say is that it is very much what George Carlin says, the true owners of this country.
It's the government, dude.
He made more of the argument that the government, the other people and stuff, the shit that they shuffle out every 4 to 10 years is all for show. Like it's that idea of it's like, no, it's like, this is like, there's the true owners of this country.
Oh yeah.
And what he was saying was that he was just like, he's like, they own you. You have owners. They own you. Mm-hmm. And he's like, and I would make the argument of that. It's like, do you really think that masks are the nail in the coffin? It's not going to be. If there ever is anything, I don't think it's that simple.
I mean, I kind of do. I feel like it's a pretty good hit.
Oh, no, do not get me wrong. I think so too.
I think it's a pretty good hit. You know, as far as you know, being like the government telling us what to do. Like the next thing is that, you know, the whole you know, guns thing, and like I'm going to be honest with you, over the last probably couple years, I'll make this short just because it is getting, you know, to the hour mark, but regardless of the things I've been investigating myself, this whole pandemic or whatever, but I am a felon. It's a non-violent felon. You know, I'm of non-violent crime.
Right.
And it's been freaking.
Is there a gnat? Is a gnat down here? Yeah, I've been seeing them down here too. Yeah.
But like, I was 18 years old when it happened. It's been almost 20 years. I want a gun. Mm-hmm. I would really, you know, I don't need some like Tech 9 semi-automatic, you know, fucking machine gun. A 9mm, whatever. Just a gun, right? A nice gun to protect myself and my family. Like it is really getting to that point in my life as far as like how the world is and all of this stuff, to where it is scary. Do you know what I heard yesterday when I was getting our beverages, and
which, thank you, by the way.
Yeah. Again, I'm not going to go too far into this, but you know, this whole like, you know, child trafficking and stuff. This is what I heard. I had my window down. Car was parked. This mother or maybe grandmother and girl, she was probably, I don't know, 6, maybe. And I didn't really see her, but there was one parking spot in between us that like separated us. Well, I had like turned the car off and I was rolling up my window. And I was getting out and I had my door like propped open. I was kind of just like fucking around in my passenger seat, like grabbing my stuff. And I heard the little girl made like kind of a weird noise, like, you know, or whatever. And the adult was like, don't freak out. Like, he's just getting out of his car. He ain't going to take you. You know, like saying stuff like that. And I'm thinking, lady, you have no idea who I am.
Yeah.
You don't know. I could have been sitting there for 45 minutes waiting on you.
Right.
Don't tell your fucking kid, don't worry about that. Like, granted, I'm a good person and I would never do that, but they always say, like, I could have I think more than anything, I just startled her that I was just there. But they always say, like, kids know these things. Listen to when they are uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So for her to downplay that was astounding to me.
I think that in a moment of frustration, I think that because I could see that being said as in, look, I've got control of the situation. He ain't going to take you.
Whoa,
whatever.
Right.
But however, on the flip side, if you just are like, flippant, like, oh, just you're fine, whatever, like you're not even paying attention. You don't have control of that situation. That is a very bad place to be. That is a very bad place to be. That is.
I don't even know how I veered off of that from the whole mask thing, but that just, I remembered that thinking like, you have no clue, lady. You have no clue who I am. And especially now with masks.
Right.
I went in to buy alcohol and I didn't get carded. And I'm thinking, what am I supposed to do? You want me to take my fucking mask off?
Right. Yeah.
I'm not supposed to.
Right.
I can be 15 in here. These could be slap-on tattoos.
Here's what
that don't mean shit no more.
Here's what I'll tell you about our town's etiquette on carding people. We're going to completely change subjects here, but it's I smoked cigarettes when I was 15. It was the first time I ever had a cigarette was when I was 15 years old. From the ages of 15 to when I was 18, I illegally smoked cigarettes because it was just that's what you did as a teenager in this town is that you smoke cigarettes. And I was so excited, ironically, for the day that I turned 18. You know why? Because at that point I was an adult. It meant that I had crossed a make sure there's nothing crazy happening. So, mom had messaged me and she said, are you like, what are you doing right now? And I'm like, well, we're podcasting. And I just didn't know if there was like an emergency or if anything was happening. So we have some family stuff. Something could have happened. So I was making sure, but, I was so excited. And I walked in the day that I turned 18 and I went in there, put my card down, got my ID out and I went, pack of Marlboro Reds, please. And the guy looked at me and went, all right, walked over.
489.
Yep. Yeah. It was, I just looked at him and I'm like, do you want my card? He's like, no, you look old enough. You're fine.
That happened to me.
And I looked at him and I went, can you at least like just look at it? Like, and just, he's like, no, he was just done.
That happened to me, man. My 18th birthday, I went in, I wanted to buy this. I'm not kidding. I bought a can of chew, a pack of cigarettes and a porno.
Yep. Cause you are officially of age.
Could.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I didn't get carded. I was fucking pissed. Same thing happened on my 21st birthday. I went and bought beer and didn't get carded.
That's so messed up.
I was so mad. Anyways.
Man. But hey, you know what? This has been a good episode. We got a little more controversial than we usually do. And I'm okay with that. It's because it's inevitable. It will come up, and it's because the way I try to handle stuff like that is very much like how Stansberry does. The Stansberry show. I don't know if you listen to him, but he never strays away from like telling how he feels. He's like, look, he's like, you're all idiots. He's like, I don't give a shit. Like, just like, and he's like, just that idea of, he's like, if you jumped onto my side of things, you'd understand everything more clearly. Like, it's just, some people can just do that without it ever being an issue. But in the same hand too, it's that, that you can have respectable conversations like that. And you can do things that, it's like, you can actually talk about stuff that are hot button without everybody jumping down your throat, cause it's just like, look, I'm like, that doesn't define me. Mm-hmm. It's like, it's at the end of the day, I don't think about these things 24/7. You know what I'm more concerned about? I'm more concerned about my loved ones. I'm more concerned about, the things that happen around me. Like, I'm more concerned about like, hey, what are we doing for a subject this week? Or like, hey, like, it's when we have the meetings, like where am I going to take my wife out to?
Yeah.
It's things like that where it's like, I don't get hung up on that. It's like, I'm just not like that. I can't live my life like that.
Yeah. I get it. I get what you mean.
I try my best to enjoy everything that's around me. Like, especially like, we've talked about it, but like music is something that, always propels me forward. Every song means something to me. Every lyric means something to me. Every breath It's not like I find myself thinking about that more than what the hell's going on with our government, man. You know, it's like that's
No, I get it.
You know, and that some people may say that's irresponsible, but in the same hand too.
No, I go back and forth. You go back and forth with it.
No, just I want this to be able to be a podcast, no matter what it transforms into, no matter what goes on. Well, sorry, honey. No matter what goes into it. I want this to be a place that this is a safe haven. Of that, we are able to have discussions with people that are maybe difficult to have, you know, or maybe they're, you know, maybe they're very controversial, and you know, sometimes we can just have fun, you know, like that's really what I want this to be, and I think that that's going to be an awesome journey on that, and it's going to be a good thing. But regardless, we absolutely killed it tonight. I'm pretty happy with it. So, do you have any final words for the hearies and the viewies?
No.
Well, in that case, guys,
goddamn that! I think I got it.
What was that, like Uncle Phil when with the cricket that was loose in the house?
Oh yeah,
it was the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. This cricket was just losing his mind,
and then he finally stepped on it.
He was walking up the steps and you heard, I killed the cricket. I can't even get it out. God, that show was amazing. Oh man, so many good things. But nevertheless, yes, we love the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. We love guns, and we love Jim Carrey. So I think that's what we achieved.
Oh, that's
tonight.
what I was talking about.
Yeah,
about
Jim Carrey.
No, it's protecting yourself with a gun. And then I went off on that tangent about that girl.
Yes.
Yeah, it was just protecting yourself. Like, always protect yourself. It's just good. There's weird people out there. That's what it was about. It all came full circle. So anyways.
John Caparulo said it best when he wanted to get a gun. His mom said, "Don't get a gun. You'll hurt somebody." And he went, "Duh." Like, that's the whole point of getting one. So, but not with the malicious intent, but you know.
Anyways.
All right.
We're out.
Well, as he goes ahead and makes his exit, I'm going to go ahead and just remind you guys one more time that if you guys want to follow us here on YouTube, you can go ahead and hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell. And if you've made it this far into the video or on Spotify listening to it, we just want to thank you for supporting us. So, which also, if you want to as well, if you want to support us monthly on Patreon, you're more than welcome to do so. It is not a necessity. Just do that if this is something that you want to see grow. Other than that, watch, like, subscribe, all that stuff that supports us as well. It helps out. It really does help us out a lot. So nevertheless, guys, thank you so much for checking us out. And we're going to go ahead and jump off here. Adios.
Star Wars sucks.